They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Hey guys, welcome to Girls, Gore, and Gin, Saturday edition. I'm Amanda Nicole.
And I'm Joe.
So viewer discretion advised, we will be talking about the Church of Satan today and Anton Lavey. So if you yourself are very religious or you don't understand other people's views on things, don't be offended by anything we say because we're warning you. Okay?
Or just change it now. Hopefully you don't change it now.
Yeah, go ahead, watch it all. Just if you get offended, don't get mad at us because we warned you. And
they're not necessarily our personal beliefs. We're just trying to inform and enlighten people. Well, I'm just saying more or less, it's just
for the most part,
we're trying to educate people on other things that are happening in the world.
Yes.
To say.
All right, so today we are drinking Beefeater London. And we have it mixed here with
a nice fine Perrier 2017 strawberry. Very nice.
Very well. During our live stream on Thursday, we were drinking Some Pussy, which is an energy drink, and it was so good.
And you can't help but giggle when you talk about it.
But we drank it all before we could do this video for Saturday, so...
Because it was really yummy.
Sorry, not sorry. Alright, so the Church of Satan was founded on April 30th, 1966 by Anton Lavey. They used the Satan symbol, implying the Hebrew term opposition and the accuser. So it was basically the Baphomet.
And what the symbol of Satanism is not necessarily what a lot of people would be, a lot of people believe it's the Star of David. It's not. It's actually a turned around star so that the bottom points become like a horn and the top would now be the bottom as being the chin as the Baphomet symbol. And the upside down cross has absolutely nothing
to do with the cross. No.
To the Satanists at all.
No.
So,
in fact, the symbol itself is like an infinity symbol with basically a line coming out with two going across, and basically
almost like an
everybody,
ankh, right?
Kind of, yeah. Everybody thinks like the upside down cross is satanic, blah blah blah, but really that was just about I can't remember his name exactly, but one of the guys in the Bible, didn't feel worthy of having the cross the same way when he was crucified. He didn't feel like he was worthy to have it the same way that Jesus Christ died on the cross, so he wanted it turned.
And that's where that originated from.
But in reality, that has nothing to do with Satanism. And Satanism itself people widespread it so much with what they think it means, but at halftime people have no idea what it even means. It has nothing to do with devil worshipping or anything like that. It's not.
In a sense, it doesn't.
Yeah,
in a sense, it doesn't.
It's an atheist philosophy that's not congruent with any other religion or philosophy that endorses a belief of one person or the spiritual, supernatural, stuff like that. It's basically about being your own God.
And taking care of yourself first before others. And doing what feels right to you. Whether, another religion contradiction says that it's a sin or not. You do what feels right and what feels natural to you as a human beast.
Yeah.
In a sense.
So Anton Lavey kind of took the practices from Crowley as far as the principles of magic, but he thought that it needed to be less spiritual and more practical and, realistic. So, yes, there are, a little bit of spells, magic stuff involved with some people's views on Satanism, but it's not like let's go to the woods and have a seance and dance around naked for the devil, stuff like that. It has nothing to do with that.
No Bohemian Grove here, people.
No. So Anton Lavey did release a satanic Bible, and it's not people think. It's not like a bunch of commandments and stuff like that. And
there's 9 statements.
There's 9 statements in there, and then there's 11 rules of Satanism. And I mean the rules with Satanism, it's more of a practical guideline of people who are not fucked in the head. And so I mean, like a lot of them, like the main one that everybody doesn't even realize because they think that Satanism is about sacrificing people and killing people and stuff like that. One of the rules is actually do not kill animals unless it's for food or because you're attacked. So it's like, let's not go kill an animal just for the hell of it, or I think this is exciting, let's
or this
do
will
it.
please my god Satan, which is really not relevant to them. It's just a model of human primal nature and how you should be, because we are all animals. And I mean, pretty much everything is an animal, more or less. So it's just embracing your animalistic side in nature and living that way. So Anton Lavey was born in Chicago, Illinois, April 11th, 1930. He's an American author, musician, and occultist, founder of the Church of Satan and the religion of Laveyan Satanism in 1966. He was also an aspiring musician at a very young age and dropped out of high school at 16 to join the circus, then later carnivals as a cage boy, which means he worked with large cats. And then later on moved to be a house organist for a burlesque, for a brothel, I guess.
Which is where a lot of his views on Satanism started. He would see all of these like men who are seen as these very family man-oriented religious people at the burlesque shows, you know.
Sneaky.
Yeah, they were, you know, fantasizing over these women and doing all this stuff. And then the very next day, this Sunday morning, he'd be playing the organ at church and see these very same men
at
with
their
their families and with, you know, their wives and trying to, you know, basically being
hypocritical.
Yeah, hypocritical about, you know, their own views on things. You know, they're supposed to, you know, be to a T, you know, to the Bible, follow, you know, all the rules. And these people are sinning and they're being so contradicting about it. Like,
right.
If you're gonna do something, just own up to it.
You ain't gonna lie to it.
Just do what you're doing. I wanted to go see some, you know, pretty young women, you know.
People appreciate honesty.
It doesn't, I feel like people would judge less if it's something that was told to them right off the bat, rather than find out later and be like, oh my god, this huge big secret. When in reality, it's not even that big of a deal if you just, you know, were to speak about it the very first time it happened.
Exactly. Later on, he ended up working for the San Francisco Police Department as a crime scene photographer. And in that era and time, he had also had a very short-lived affair with Marilyn Monroe. And this was before they had both become any kind of a symbol or recognized for anything that they had ever done. So, but a lot of celebrities, after he had started his church and his religion, as you would call it, like Sammy Davis Jr., Jane Mansfield. I've heard some rumors of
King Diamond.
Yeah, Elvis Presley. I've heard a small bit of Elvis Presley. So a lot of people really kind of, you know, were into what he was talking about and what he was doing, and they felt that was more of an appropriate lifestyle for them than what they were raised with.
And like Marilyn Manson, I guess, was on like he never has said he is a member, but he was on like one of the higher, I don't know the word for it. Sorry, Miguel, you're gonna have to edit.
No, I know what you're talking about though. He was ordained kind of as
like a minister almost.
Yeah, he was ordained as a practitioner of the church in some sense.
Okay, so Marilyn Manson joined the church in 1996, was actually a year before Anton Lavey died. And he was an honorary satanic priest. And he still carries the member card for being the Church of Satan. But I've heard that he doesn't actually like claim he's in the church, but he is one of the priests on there. I know that Lady Gaga is apparently...
Is she really?
Is not an official member of Church of Satan, but she's known to practice her...
Well, if you have $100, you can be a part of the church for $100.
But you know what? So. It's not just a matter of that, too. You know, you can do that and you'll get the title or whatever, but they didn't consider you actually in the Church of Satan until you did something that made an improvement towards it. So, you know, going out there and... you know, acknowledging it and informing people on it, that's when they actually truly were like, okay, you are a Satanist, you are a part of this.
You're an active member.
Yeah. But yes, like King Diamond, Matt Skiba.
I don't know who that is.
He is the singer of Alkaline Trio.
Is that what his name is? I know that band is.
And he's now the singer of Blink-182.
What? There's
Yeah,
no
'cause
more
Tom-
work?
No,
Tom's
Tom.
replacement? Tom's replacement.
Tom DeLonge. He was the singer, right?
Yeah. He was kind of like the secondary singer of
You're gonna have to edit it.
Come on.
Yeah, who else? Susan Atkins, one of the most known members of the Charles Manson cult, was a member of the Church of Satan. And then, like you said, James Mansfield, she actually stated that she relied on the powers of Satan for her success. And that totally turned against her.
Well, a lot of celebrities, have started kind of coming out and admitting, you basically sell your soul to the devil to get as far as I've gotten or so-and-so have gotten in this industry. Mm-hmm. And whether or not that's true or whether they just think by coincidence that it's happening, we don't know. Being open-minded about it. But it is kind of weird that a lot more people are coming out with it. When this was something that was coming out in the 80s and the early 90s about, like, Satanism, oh my god, it's a new thing, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah. It kind of is and isn't a new thing, so... I don't know. What else do you got, girl?
So Anton Lavey did release a Satanic Bible in 1969, and I recommend anybody to read it. I mean, it's very informative, and I recommend everybody to read all Bibles for every religion. That way you can kind of get a full aspect on how everybody views everything and the different rules and guidelines that people live by. Everybody's philosophy is so different. But the cool thing that I personally like about it is the 11 satanic rules. So they're not what people would think. It's not like, oh, you must sacrifice,
gotta eat babies,
so and so many numbers of something a month, or some crazy thing like, oh, on Sundays instead of going to church, go murder somebody, or do something crazy. No, like a lot of them are very, good moral,
practical. They're very practical.
Rules. Yeah, like I mean, one of my favorites is the do not give opinions unless you are asked for advice.
Because that can get you in some trouble.
Yeah, if people just kept their mouths shut about something.
Mind your own beeswax unless somebody says, hey, what do I do?
Yeah, and so, and like there's also the ones about do not harm children. That's
or
one of the big
animals.
ones. Yeah, and the animal
or
ones.
animals that are non-human, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. And then one of the biggest ones that, a lot of people don't really realize is actually something they believe in. It's just don't make sexual advances toward people if they don't have consent.
Right.
And a lot of religions, I mean, their Bibles were written by men, and a lot of them, they raped.
Yeah, they did, pretty much.
Some religions get crazy, with
and then those
raping
women
their
are
women.
murdered because now all of a sudden they're unpure to another male. They couldn't help the fact that they got friggin' raped. That's not their fault.
Yeah.
But they were punished for it because they looked a certain way or looked at someone a certain way.
They're impure. And, like, speaking of impure, which it's changing a lot nowadays, but back further than, the views on gay marriage and transgender stuff like that, it was rough. And so now churches are being a little more open about it, they're accepting it, even though it's totally against, like what their books say.
Exactly.
So they're contradicting themselves.
Yes, that does not make sense to me. Pope, whoever is there now, Francis, Benedict, whatever.
But
that makes no sense.
So Satanists support gay marriage and transgenders completely, even if you, like, join this satanic church or whatever, and you end up transitioning later on, you can have your little card changed.
Okay.
To your newer name or whatever, as long as you send in proof of your ID whenever you get your name changed legally.
So you can't just make up a fun name?
No, you have to actually, like, send in your ID to get your card that says... Yeah.
I want to be like Demon Cotton Candy or something.
Is that gonna be your new handler? Is that your MySpace name?
Yeah, Demon Cotton Candy. Evil Cotton Candy. That's my Baphomet name.
So, but along with the whole, the whole views on gay marriage and stuff like that, sexual stuff it's a huge thing for religion,
It is.
Some of them it's like, you must not have any sexual and impure thoughts. Some of them you can't masturbate, which...
Some of them you have to have sex a certain way in order
do it
for
other
it to be
crazy
okay.
ways. And it's crazy to think like that, but Satanism, they are all up for sexual advances and all up for, exploring, as long as it's consensual. It's the only thing they want, is they want it to be consensual. And they actually, they endorse, experiencing and trying different things, and, like BDSM and erotica. They say go for it, if you and the other person are completely consensual about it and want to explore more, explore.
Because it's your natural feeling. It's you're an animal in a sense, so that's your nature, is to feel that way. So embrace it and don't feel repressed by, how Catholicism and Christianity likes to portray it, is that everything that you do is evil, it's a sin, you need to not do it. But not to offend anybody, because that's
all we're doing is offending people.
Well, no, I'm not trying to, because I've studied a lot of different religions.
Yeah.
Like Buddhism, Christianity, Catholicism, paganism, witchcraft, a lot of things, just for my own self, my own education, and not to be ignorant to others. But a lot of those are like, don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 this and that. And then Satanism is like, feels good, do it. It's natural.
That's one of their biggest things, like, do what you're going to do, as long as you're not,
harming someone else. Or
like, doing anything that's technically wrong. Like, they didn't want you to steal.
Yeah.
They didn't want you to treat others badly unless they treated you badly.
Don't harm children or animals. Don't turn the other cheek, that's for sure.
Yeah, don't turn.
Because you only got 2 cheeks. You keep turning them, you're gonna run out of cheeks.
One of the last.
Unless you're Miguel, then you got like a bunch of cheeks going on.
All right, so the last rule of the Satanic Bible is actually, I personally love it. So it says, when walking in territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he doesn't stop, destroy him. I agree with it. If you tell somebody to fuck off and they don't fuck off, fuck them up. Right? Is that bad?
Yeah, obviously they're not going to leave you alone.
They're all not in their face.
And then just, go on with your day.
Tell me if you think that's bad for us to think or not, okay? We want to know.
She's totally right. I agree with that 100%. Religious or not, I agree.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to offend anybody's religion, I have, like she said, I've looked into other religions. I grew up with my family being pretty religious on some sides. I know that, like, my sister's husband's side's Catholic, very, very Catholic. So I get everybody's views. I understand why Ray does it. If it's what makes you feel better and it's what gets you through life, go for it,
And who's anybody else to say otherwise?
Yeah. Just don't put the pressure on everybody. Like, if you're going to go through and you're going to banter people and, really go at it with them to try to force something on them, then you're contradicting yourself. You're not being pure. You're not being helpful to others. You're just being a pest. Like,
well, with some religions, though, they say that you have to convert as many people as you can.
Oh, yeah, and that's wrong. To have to force something onto somebody's lifestyles, and to make them feel like that's how they have to live their life, it's not right. And yes, the Satanic Bible does have some rules. They're not necessarily...
As long as it doesn't hurt you, then what business is it of yours?
Pretty much.
Sorry. That's all I have to say. If it doesn't affect your life, then it has nothing to do with you. So then why should you care? So just go about your happy little way and drinking your tea and shit.
And if you're taking offense to anything that anybody ever says to you, then you're insecure about that topic. Like, I know one of my biggest things to say is if somebody yells at me for, believing in Satanism, which, again, is not having to do with worshiping the devil. It's about being your own God and your own, self. Then, in my opinion, they're insecure about their religion.
Right.
They feel like they know something's wrong with what they're doing, or maybe they're just not devoted enough to their own religion to be able to feel like they're secure enough to where they feel offended and, in a way, scared that there's something else out there. And so that's why I recommend to everybody, read every Bible there is.
Right. I mean, hold true to your own religion if it feels good to you. But at least educate yourself on other things.
So that you know why other people feel the way that they do.
Right.
Because I honestly, I have read some stuff before and I'm like, okay, this makes total sense why this person's a complete dick. It's in their Bible. It's in their religion.
It's like, I wouldn't do it, but I can appreciate and understand where they're coming from. And I would never do anything to change otherwise because that's their life. And that's their business, and it doesn't affect me.
Like, I'm not going to run around and be like, you need to be a Satanist, you need to be a Satanist, you need to be a Satanist, everybody be Satanist. And then
you get a car, everybody gets a car. Fucking Oprah religion over here.
Who cares? Like, like you said, if it's not bothering you, yourself, then fuck it. You have no right to opinionate anybody or do anything.
Exactly.
So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out our live feed on Thursdays. We are going to be trying to move up the time a little bit, so hopefully we'll be starting around 7:30ish soon.
And also for our pre-recorded show for Saturday afternoons on our topic of the week.
on the Wasp Nest video channel. And don't forget to like us on Instagram and on Facebook for Girls Gore and Gin.
And check us out on YouTube also.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Have a nice evening.